The Pacific Ocean is bigger than we think. Even if a hole is made across the Earth in the Pacific Ocean on the coast of Chile, it will still come out in the Pacific Ocean on the other side of the Earth. There are a total of 5 oceans in the world, and the largest of these 5 oceans is the Pacific Ocean. And it is spread over a total area of 165 million square kilometers. You will be surprised to know that our worlds know the total land. The total happy part is spread over 148 million square kilometers, which means that if we remove the other 4 oceans, and only talk about the Pacific Ocean, then it alone is much more than all the mountains, deserts, forests, and Ireland of our entire world. In the entire Pacific Ocean, there are only a few islands, and they are so small that they appear like a dot in the vast Pacific Ocean, and no human has ever set foot on these islands, meaning that if someone gets lost in this vast Pacific Ocean, finding them is nearly impossible. But today you will know the real story of a person who got lost in the Pacific Ocean on his small boat, and this is not only for 10 or 15 days but for the entire 438 days. Yes, this person had accidentally created a world record, which probably no one would like to break even if they wanted to. This world record of spending the most time alone in the sea is from literature. Its name was coined by a person who spent 438 days in the sea, and that too on a small boat of only 7 feet. But the question is, how did he survive alone in the sea for 14 months? But before that, we will know that, why did it go into the sea? This is from the year 2012, when in the small village named Costa Azul of Mexico, a man named Jus Alvarenga lived. He was 36 years old at that time, and was also an expert fisherman. 17th November 2012, Josh left for fishing with a friend on his small board. Their plan was that they would spend only 30 hours in the sea. That is why there was not much luggage on their small boat. In this 7-foot boat, there was only an engine and a refrigerator in which he used to store fish. Who knew that the next 438 days of his life were going to be the worst days of his life, carrying only 1 day's food and drink with him? He was 120 kilometers from the coast of Mexico. When he went away and spread his net in the sea, at that very moment a fierce sea storm arrived there. To save his life, he left the fish net there and ran back towards the sea on reverse feet. After speeding the boat for a full 6 hours, it was now 7 a.m. in the morning, and finally, the shore was only 20 kilometers away, and he could even see his village. He had left this storm far away, but now his luck had stopped working. He was only 20 kilometers away from shore. The engine had broken down. Now he neither had a Japut nor a cell to control the direction of the boat, but he had a radio through which he sent his location to his boss and started waiting for his reply. But what happened after that was a nightmare for any fisherman. While waiting for their boss's reply, the battery of their radio died, and now both fishermen had lost contact with the outside world. Both fishermen were still in shock when something unexpected happened. Suddenly, strong winds started pushing their boat toward the open sea, and the shore that was visible to them just a while ago had now disappeared from sight. Their boss even formed a search party and searched for them in the Pacific Ocean, but by then, it was too late, because as the days were passing, it was considered very difficult for Joe and his companion to escape. Only 5 days had passed since this accident and the winds which had blown his boat. He had pushed the boat 450 kilometers away from the shore. He had reached such a part of the ocean where only water was visible in every direction. They knew that their boat was so small that it couldn't be spotted from a distance, and they didn't have a flare gun, or any way to start a fire to signal with smoke. Now both fishermen realized that their chances of survival were less than even 1%. The food they had brought had already been exhausted, so to fill their stomachs, they started catching with their hands the birds that used to come and sit on their boat, or they started catching the fishes present around the board and eating them raw. Drinking salty seawater can lead to death, so they began collecting rainwater in bottles floating in the sea and started drinking that. But when it didn't rain for days, they would quench their thirst by drinking the blood of fish and turtles, if they managed to catch them. Days passed and then months passed. It is difficult for us to even imagine the mental torture these two were going through. But Jus Alvarenga's companion couldn't endure this torture, and finally, after 4 months, he committed suicide. Now even on this small board, he had no one to talk to, and he started wandering around and living his life alone in this sea. On the map, the part of the Pacific Ocean where Jus was located is considered the quietest area in the world, so cargo ships also pass through here occasionally. It had been more than 6 months since he left the coast of Mexico, and during this time, Jones had also lost his companion. Due to this, he'd become very frustrated. One day, Josh saw a cargo ship passing in the distant sea. He was seeing the tip for the first time in the last 6 months, and on seeing this scene, his hope of staying alive started rising again, which he did. Made all kinds of signals towards the cargo ship, but unfortunately this small board was not visible through the ship, and within no time his hopes of survival were dashed once again. Imagine one day in the middle of the ocean, after fighting with death, when finally there is hope to save his life and he ignores it and goes away. Then how will he feel? After 11 months, Jones had traveled 8,000 kilometers to this small port. His clothes were also torn. Only one under arrest was left to protect him from the sunlight. Finally, the moment came when fate was kind to him. It was in January 2014, that is. After 14 months, Jones saw coconuts in the water nearby, and he understood that someone from Ireland. He came close to the place where the coconuts broke from the trees and were floating in the water. After some time, he actually started seeing an island. He was afraid that he might miss this island too. That is why he jumped into the water and made his way to Ireland. In the last 14 months, the Juice had first time set foot on some land. And when he reached Ireland, he also saw a small house in which the local people were present. For the first time in the last 438 days, Josh had contact with another person. This island was a remote part of the Marshall Islands, called Eben Atoll, and it was 1,000 kilometers away from Juiz's starting point. It was sheer luck that he reached this tiny island in the vast ocean. Otherwise, if he had missed this one, his next stop would have been the Philippines, which is another 5,000 kilometers away. From there, he was sent back to his home, where as soon as he reached, another problem surrounded him. Yes. On returning, Joyce published a book in the name of 438 Days. But a case was filed against Juice by accusing him of killing his partner, the same partner who, as you told, had committed suicide. I hope this video of Easy's documentary also shows you all. Will like and share a lot. Thank you very much for your loving comments. See you in the next great video.